Marcus Garvey Village is a housing complex in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn, New York, housing around 1,000 people. And it was redeveloped over the last 3 years by L&M Development and Demand Energy to include a microgrid. So Marcus Garvey Village was the perfect spot for this microgrid because there's such high peak load that the utility had occasionally cut off electricity via rolling brownouts there. And this microgrid is in line with Andrew Cuomo's Reforming the Energy Vision. It's a movement to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase alternative energy use in New York City. The microgrid was installed consisting of solar panels, a fuel cell, and a battery. And we have a shared savings model with our customers, meaning we share the savings earned by the microgrid with the development owners. Marcus Garvey Complex has a load profile that needs to be managed intelligently. For example, sometimes the solar and fuel cells produce more energy than residents can actually consume. And in these cases, the battery needs to be ready to absorb that extra load. At the same time, during a brownout, it needs to island. On top of which, there are many methods of saving money at Marcus Garvey, including energy savings, demand response, demand charge reduction. This becomes a really interesting controls problem that my team set out to solve. How can we manage all of these value streams at once? A traditional approach is to create a rule set. If X happens, then do A. You can do demand reduction, or you can provide backup power. The more value streams added, the more complex this rule set becomes. So imagine going to your local grocery store when it's super crowded. You get to the checkout line and have to create a rule set to determine which line you choose. Maybe your rule is pick the shortest line, but the shortest line isn't necessarily the fastest line. There may be a lady in line with a huge shopping cart, and you need a new rule if the cashier checks out and takes his break. So rule sets are not good at dealing with the unexpected, and the more variables there are, the more rules you need. When you go to your local grocery store, you really have this, not rule set, but this idea that you have a split second to predict which line you need to get into to get out that door the fastest. So you think about line length, shopping cart fullness, which line doesn't have that kid throwing things on the floor, and you run some simulations in your head. First line, that's short, but that toddler is clawing out the gum section and nobody has noticed. The second line, slowest bagging guy, you've been here before. You best go for the third line, even though it's the longest. Our optimization engine is doing the same process, only instead of considering checkout line variables, we're considering cost savings variables. So that's this energy arbitrage, demand response, and demand reduction. So first, it learns. Just like you've been to your grocery store hundreds of times and learned which cashiers are quick, the optimizer has seen these loads many times, and it learns what the load looks like, alternative energy load and building load alike. Then, just like you assess the current state of the grocery lines to make a prediction about how those grocery lines are going to move, the optimization engine assesses the historical loads, as well as the current load, and it's going to make a prediction about what those sites are going to look like over the next 24 hours. And it's not just the load prediction, we're also going to make a fuel cell prediction and a solar prediction to figure out what's going to happen here. The prediction, along with other relevant data like battery state of charge and the rate information, is used to create simulations of the possible futures. So while at a grocery store, you may run a lot of, maybe 12 simulations in your head. I know you're doing that. The optimization engine is actually going to create thousands of outcomes depending on its control plans. And finally, it'll put its plan into action. And 15 minutes later, it's going to repeat the process and reassess the situation. The cashier closes down the line you're in, cloud blocks the sunlight from your solar panels, you have to change your plan. So what does this look like in practice? Our optimization engine will stack value streams, doing what's best for the customer at any given time. So sometimes it might be doing just energy arbitrage. Sometimes it might be tailoring that state of charge to minimize battery aging. But most of the time, it's utilizing many of these value streams at once. Here's what it looks like in real time. We installed the optimization engine in May of this year at Marcus Garvey. It's been saving our customer thousands of dollars per month. It's environmentally friendly, and we're providing backup power for those in need. we're providing Marcus Garvey residents with the opportunity to check out intelligent microgrid savings.